Sami Brady on Days of Our Lives is the kind of character you can't keep down for long. She's a fighter. After a series of child actors, Alison Sweeney took over the role in 1993 when the character was aged to a teenager, and aside from a brief time during 2005 when Sami was played by actor Dan Wells, we'll explain that shortly. Sweeney remained in the part until she left Days in 2015. But her goodbye wasn't exactly permanent, as the actress has continued to reprise her role for brief stints here and there. This quadrangle got extremely complicated. Dave Bjork/NBC/NBCU photo bank via Getty Images. As a teen in the 90s, Sami developed a crush on her sister Carrie's boyfriend, Austin. Traumatized by witnessing her mother, Marlena Evans, cheating on husband Roman with John, Sami became bulimic, switched the blood test so Marlena would think Belle's father was Roman, not John, and even kidnapped the infant to sell on the black market. Sami was raped by Alan, a friend of Lucas Horton's who was frustrated by his unrequited love for Carrie. With no proof, Sami was branded a liar, but when Alan tried to rape her again, she shot him in the groin. Lucas comforted Sami, and they had sex. But she still had a crush on Austin and drugged him so he would sleep with her, believing she was Carrie. After leaving town briefly, Sami returned to Salem pregnant and claiming Austin was the baby's father. But after Will's birth, Carrie uncovered the truth that Lucas was the real baby daddy. Sami was nearly executed. Aaron Montgomery/JPI. After getting involved with Franco, Sami married him so he could remain in the country, but he was killed on their wedding day and Kate framed Sami for the murder. She was sentenced to death, but in the middle of her execution, Lucas confessed to save her. Unfortunately, after she was freed, Sami fell in love with Brandon and married him briefly. However, after her scheming doomed that union, she and Lucas grew closer and became engaged. But Kate sabotaged that by making her son think Sami had cheated on him the night before the wedding. Sami's damaged psyche caused her to work for Tony DiMera and disguise herself as a man named Stan who sold illegal drugs to John. See, told you we'd get to that eventually. Sami was able to convince Lucas that she'd never been unfaithful, but Kate then revealed the truth about Stan, and that was the end of that. Sami made a very handsome man. Paul Skipper/JPStudios.com. When Carrie returned to Salem, she ended up dating Lucas on the rebound, so Sami took advantage of the opportunity to be with Austin. Unfortunately, she found herself drawn to the handsome race car driver, DiMera, and her wedding to Austin ended in disaster. Carrie and Austin reunited and left town together, so Sami turned to Edge, who she discovered was not only also sleeping with Kate, but was also Stefano's son. Sami reunited with Lucas, and they made love while taking shelter from a snowstorm. However, when Lucas was injured, Sami went to get help, and Edge only offered his assistance if she would agree to sleep with him. Naturally, Sami became pregnant, and married Lucas before giving birth to twins Johnny and Allie. It was later revealed that Johnny was EJ's and Allie was Lucas' child. Sami agreed to marriage to help stop the Brady/DiMera feud, and Edge was shot at the wedding. Will was the real shooter, but Lucas took the fall to protect his son. This wasn't exactly how Sami pictured her wedding night. Paul Skipper/JPStudios.com. While pretending they were a happily married couple for the sake of their child, Sami and Edge began to develop genuine feelings for each other. She became pregnant again, but Nicole Walker switched Sami's baby with an adopted one after she miscarried herself. Eventually Sami was reunited with her daughter, Sydney, but a jealous Edge kidnapped the baby girl. He later changed his mind and returned Sydney and acted like the heroic rescuer. Ray Fernandez revealed the truth. Sami found herself drawn to Rafe, but shortly after they got married, Stefano and Ij switched Rafe with a lookalike imposter for a while. Sami slept with Ij, split up with Rafe, then reconnected with Lucas. Sami was ultimately supportive when son Will came out as gay and tried to help him when it was revealed that Gabby's baby was his, not Nick's. Reuniting with Ij again, the couple were married, but after he had an affair with Abigail, Sami teamed up with Kate to take Demera Enterprises away from the family. Just as she was growing closer to reconciling with Ij, he was shot dead. Overwhelmed with grief, Sami took her kids and moved to Los Angeles, having accepted a deal with movie executives to make a film of her incredible life story. Sami and Lucas mourned the loss of their son, but it was only a temporary loss. XJJohnson/JBstudios.com. Sami returned to Salem briefly in 2015 when her son Will was murdered. She then received a letter from Ij and suspected he might still be alive. His instructions led her to a safe deposit box that contained the passwords to Stefano's bank accounts, so she stole Stefano's fortune and skipped town again with her children. However, she returned again in November of 2017 when it was revealed that Will was alive and living in Nashville with Susan Banks, believing he was her son, Ij. Everyone managed to bring Will home to Salem, but Sami went a little too far in trying to restore her son's memories when she enlisted Ben Weston to pretend to kill him all over again. A distraught Sami also slept with Rafe while he was fighting with Hope, quickly leaving town before she could do any more damage. Sami returned again in the summer of 2018 to crash John and Marlena's wedding, and it was revealed that she'd been held captive by Kristen Demera. When Marlena was shot, Sami was the prime suspect as she'd been holding a gun, but it was later proven that Xander was the one who had pulled the trigger. Sami was desperate to prove the rumors that Ij was still alive, and a DNA test on a mystery man recovered from an explosion confirmed his identity. She left Salem with Ij to help him put his life back together, but returned in the spring of 2019 as Will was fighting for his life as he suffered from a brain tumor. Sami clashed with Nicole some more, not realizing she was actually Kristen in disguise, then once Will was on the mend departed to return to Ij. Sami got herself into a very sticky situation. XJJohnson/JBstudios.com. Sami popped up again in July 2020 when she crashed Eric and Nicole's wedding and then tried to convince Sally not to give up her baby for adoption. Sami managed to persuade Rafe not to adopt the baby, but her meddling caused Allie to change her mind about giving Henry to Will and Sonny and instead want Nicole to raise her newborn son. Naturally, Sami went ballistic and fought for custody of her grandson, bringing Jen Spears in as a surprise witness to sabotage Nicole in court. Eventually, Allie talked some sense into her mom, who agreed to let Nicole help raise Henry if Allie moved in with her. Sami returned again at Christmas, where she learned the awful truth that Allie's baby had been conceived when she was drunk and someone forced themselves on her. When Charlie Dale was revealed as Allie's rapist, the guy soon wound up dead and Sami confessed to the murder to protect her daughter. It was really Jan who had done it, though. On the outs with Ij, Sami took comfort in Luca's arms and Kristen used the affair to blackmail Sami into doing her bidding. Sami was furious to discover that Nicole had cheated on Eric and paid Xander to publicly expose their one-night stand to get her away from her brother. But Nicole got her hands on Kristen's letter about Sami's affair and made sure Ij saw it. He forced a confession out of Sami and then told her they were over. Soon after, Sami was abducted by a mysterious assailant. Stay tuned to see what happens next. Ad block test, why?